Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead is an absolute juggernaut in the CGI department. From tiger zombies to a post-apocalyptic Las Vegas strip, there's a lot contributing to the movie's $90 million budget. The most expensive effect? Surprisingly, the addition of Tig Notaro. It goes without saying that the Army of the Dead has had a turbulent production cycle. Zack started developing the idea during production of 2004's Dawn of the Dead, before Warner Brothers announced the film formally in 2007. Over the years, the movie's lost its bankroll from both Warner Brothers and Legendary Entertainment, along with the departure of previously attached director Matisse van Heyningen Jr. In 2019, Netflix picked up the distribution rights, and the movie ended up finally being filmed a whole 15 years after its original inception. But that doesn't necessarily mean there wasn't some drama still to come. A full year after shooting, there were serious allegations made against cast member Chris D'Elia regarding sexual harassment and the grooming of minors. Following the allegations, the Snyders and Netflix instantaneously decided to recast the role, with millions being put aside for the task of salvaging the character. Now let's be clear, this isn't the first time an actor has been replaced after filming following allegations of sexual misconduct. All the Money in the World made headlines back in 2017 with its recasting from Kevin Spacey to Christopher Plummer with the role of J. Paul Getty. That change only required 9 days of pickup shots, but keep in mind, that wasn't in a VFX-heavy film, and the reshoots didn't have to occur during a worldwide pandemic. While Army of the Dead features an already sprawling ensemble, the role couldn't be outright cut due to the character being the getaway driver, or pilot, I guess, whatever. And what good is an Ocean's 11-inspired twist without a Turk Malloy? There's an ever-growing list of burly male comedians that could have replaced D'Elia, but Snyder surprisingly offered the role to Tig Notaro. Being a fan of her podcast, and with a recent turn to acting in action productions through Star Trek Discovery, Tig was an inspired choice and brought her trademark deadpan humor to a movie that would have otherwise had the personality of one of its zombies. Since filming had been wrapped for so long at this point, the movie was mostly finished, with the exception of a few lingering effects touch-ups. This entire Snyder cut was screened for Tig so she would have an understanding of the shoes she had to fill. Due to there being a working production copy of the film, the team had decided not to alter any of the scenes or entirely cut anything out to keep the pacing they felt worked. This means there were some head-scratching workarounds that would have to be done to seamlessly integrate Tig into the film. So the last time we heard about CGI mishaps in a supposed Zack Snyder movie was with Henry Cavill's mustache in 2017's Justice League. If a mustache was so hard to replace, how would a character even be possible? Well, as it turns out, it wasn't just the visual effects wizardry that would be an issue, but also, ironically enough, a real-life virus. Because of the pandemic, flying in the rest of the cast for reshoots was a logistical nightmare, leading to Tig having to be alone for most of her filming. The only character to return was Mariah Cruz for the moment they played off one another on the rooftop. The character is confined to a rooftop separated by the rest of the gang for a majority of the film, which in itself is a fairly easy fix in post. But whenever the character of Marianne Peters had to interact with anyone, extensive measures had to be taken. To make the already recorded dialogue with the rest of the cast make sense, Tig had to stay very strict to the script to ensure no continuity errors, which left zero room for any improv. All of the possible masking techniques were utilized to create a convincing effect for a replacement, whether it's being separated from the action by a chain link fence, to reinserting Tig via green screen and careful keying. All in all, filming ended up taking 14 days in combination with about 6 months of VFX work to scrub out D'Elia and add in Notaro. All in all, Marianne Peters was in approximately 250 of the estimated 1,200 shots in the film, leading to a hefty amount of work for the 5 VFX companies that teamed up with Netflix to make the recasting possible, with each of these companies consisting of around 300 employees each. So finally, after 6 months of additional work, millions of dollars added to the budget, and 1,500 additional members added to the production team, Chris D'Elia had fully been replaced by Tig Notaro. If you aren't sure if the switch-up was worth it or not, Army of the Dead ended up being streamed by over 72 million households during its first week of release. A somewhat recent movie that prominently featured some cast members with various assault allegations, Billionaire Boys Club, lost $13 million at the box office. So yeah, not a bad move. Although to be fair, I guess that one didn't have zombies or Dave Bautista kicking butt or... Look, it's just a good move, alright? While the effects are particularly impressive, this definitely was not the first time an actor had been digitally reinserted into a role, with Anakin Skywalker being the first to make waves in Return of the Jedi. Who knows where this may happen next? We've certainly got the tech.